The gentleman from Kentucky is not on the subcommittee, but without objection, I'd like to recognize him for a line of questioning, if he'd like, regarding this matter. Mr. Guthrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it very much for allowing me to do so. I'm over on this side of the room. Good to see you again. Yeah, good to see you.
Somebody come in?
Yeah, somebody came. I apologize. I'm not on the subcommittee, so I'm down here, but I think they just had a new member come in, so I apologize for that. But before I get into what I was going to ask, on the question of not requiring to report, there's only 2 states required to report. That's reporting to law enforcement, right? They have to report that if they have somebody in their foster care leaves their foster care, they report it to social services or somebody, I'm sure, right? Or they just don't have any reporting.
That may be the case. It varies by state, but I'm referring specifically to reporting to law enforcement.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. And I was in the center, and I did the authorization last year, and you know, it shows that when we find common ground in the House and the Senate, we can work together. Senator Leahy and I were the primary sponsors of your reauthorization, and so I came to tour the center, and I recommend it to all my colleagues to do that, and the techniques that you have to go through to find, one, who the child is in the image and who the person is creating the image, who we want to find is interesting how you do that, and it's something we need to know, and it certainly is a skill and an ability. It's something needed because there are things that are going on in this world most people can't even get their minds around that happens. And the issue with me, I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and this always happens in the big city, you think. And so when we're home on our working in August, I'm trying to highlight the fact this does happen everywhere. Anywhere that has a computer, it's not just somebody out on the street or so forth. So we're going to try to do roundtables or conferences in different parts of my city. What kind of things do you think, just advice for us, we should make sure people know are going on in their communities? Because you see it everywhere. You see what's happening. What kind of things do you think people don't know in general that they need to know about what's probably happening in their community?
One of the most prevalent venues where these minors are being trafficked are in local hotels. Now, typically, you know, people aren't paying attention who's coming and going in these hotels, but those who are in the business of operating hotels, they are in a position to take notice of the behavioral characteristics consistent with this trafficking. For instance, many times a pimp will come in with 3, sometimes 5 young girls. The girls will be off to the corner. The pimp will go in and make the arrangements for 3 to 5 rooms. It might be for a 3-day period, typically cash. These girls will go up to the rooms. They'll never leave their rooms. The food will be delivered. Nobody sees them again until they leave. That's strange. What's going on? Why is that pimp hanging around? Why is he walking the hallways, you know, 24/7? Something's going on that's inconsistent with the regular routine of the trade of that hotel. And I'm not just talking about the very small, seedy hotel. I'm talking about very well-known, you know, reputable brands.
Chain hotels. My home's exit 22 on I-65 is like, it's right there. And so every chain that you know that has a, you know,
it's every
there.
chain.
So.
And what I invite people to do, and I say this with some degree of reluctance, but if you want to see the scope of the problem in your own neighborhood, go to a back page, because they promote ads in communities, in towns. It's not just cities, but they break it down, you know, into counties, into boroughs, into communities. So if they're advertising your area in an adult escort service, that means you have a problem. A child, if not multiple children, are being exploited in that area.
You know, matter of fact, I probably want to reach out to you, I know Ms. Brooks is going to, and just kind of those ideas, what you think we should present. So people, those are, I didn't think about inviting hotel owners to come to a round table, but that sounds like, or the tourism group.
You know, these young girls, there are some boys, but mostly it's young girls. They're being trafficked from state to state. So how are they getting to and from? Many times they're flying, but then they're getting into cabs. We've had many reports. Law enforcement gets reports. They see the same young girls over the course of a month, 2 months, come through their area, go to the same hotels, go back, you know, at some point to the same. There are a lot of eyes and ears in different sectors who, if they're properly educated, alerted, who can they call? Typically, it's going to be law enforcement. They can get to the bottom of this and do incredibly good work.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll yield. Thank you for the time, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman's time's expired.